Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're going to talk about how you can know when enough is enough. When you, as a federal employee, should hang it up and say, look, I want to move on to that next stage of my life and I want to retire. When do you know when you've hit that point that is right for you? We're going to dive into that today. If you are new here, so good to have you. My name is Dallin Haas, I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees every day, and I absolutely love it. So let's talk through a few things. The longer you work for the government, your three main income sources in retirement get bigger and bigger. For example, you have your pension, you've got your TSP, you've got your Social Security. The longer you work, the bigger your pension's going to be. You're going to have more years of service, which increases your pension. Your high three is going to be bigger, which again increases your pension. More years of service is always going to increase your pension. Next, TSP, your thrift savings plan. The more you work, the more you save, the longer time you have to invest before retirement, the bigger your TSP is. Same with Social Security. Social Security is based on how much money you've made over your working history. And the more years of high earning years you have in the system, the bigger your Social Security is going to be. So long story short, the longer you work, all three of these get bigger and bigger and bigger. However, the question of today is, okay, at what point is enough enough? At what point are these big enough that you are comfortable retiring? That you are comfortable retiring. Now, here are a couple things to consider. Every situation is a little different, but again, here are a couple factors that I would consider if I was you. Number one, are you eligible for a full-blown federal retirement, right? As a normal traditional FERS, you've got to hit a few criteria. If you leave, let's say at 30 years old, you're probably not eligible to retire, and so you're not going to get a pension, at least right away, right? And your TSP is going to be small, and Social Security, you're going to not have much accrued at that point. So you can't leave whenever you want, right? So the first criteria is, are you eligible to retire? Are you eligible, right? Which means if you're a traditional FERS, you hit your MRA, your minimum retirement age with at least 30 years of service. You've got to hit that criteria. Or if you're age 60 or older, only 20 years of service is what you need, 20, okay? If you're age 62 and older, all you need is 5 years of service. So again, if you've hit your MRA, but you're not 60 yet, so anywhere between 57 to 60, right in there, you've got to have at least 30 years of service to get a full-blown pension and keep a lot of the benefits you want to keep. Next, if you're age 60, between age 60 and 62, you need 20 years of service. At 62 and later, all you need is 5 years of service to get a pension right away, keep your health insurance, those sort of big benefits that most people want to take. So that's question number one. Are you eligible to retire? That's the first factor I'd look at. Number two, if you are eligible to retire, if you've hit one of these criteria, are you able to afford to retire? When you've added all these up, your pension, TSP, and Social Security, and what they'll actually provide for you in retirement, which if you want videos on that, I've done videos on all of these things to make sure you understand how much they're going to be for you in retirement. Once you've added them up, are they enough for you to replace what you're taking home now? Are they enough for you to replace the amount of money you're taking home now? That's a huge factor. So number one, again, are you eligible? Number two, can you afford to retire and keep the lifestyle you're used to, right? Can you afford to retire and keep the lifestyle you're used to? Now, I do understand that especially with TSP, it's sometimes volatile. It can go up and down. Some people get very, very nervous about leaving because they're no longer saving into their TSP. They're no longer increasing these things. And it's just difficult to move into a new stage. You move from saving into spending down the savings. It's a different mindset. It's a different stage of life. And I know that transition is hard. But here are a few things to consider. Number one, the longer you work, the shorter your retirement's going to be, right? And we all know this, but it's a good reminder. Let's say you're going to pass away at 87 or whatever it is. We're all going to die at some point. If you pass at 87, if you choose to work until 62, over 60, then again, your retirement is 2 years shorter. So the longer you work, the more income you're going to have in retirement, but the shorter amount of years you're going to enjoy that income in retirement. because frankly, your retirement is shorter, right? So it's a balancing act. It's all about finding that crosshairs where your income is big enough where you're comfortable to have a great retirement for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about going back to work or running out of money or none of that. But at the same time, you don't work too long that you give up a great retirement, that you just worked it all and there's not much left. Because we all know as we age, the things we're able to do and want to do change. And if you retire at 75, the things you'll be able to do health-wise are very different than if you retire at 57. So it's a balancing act of making sure you have the right amount of income and that you have the life you want. And now I understand there's some that just love working. You may love what you do, and so maybe you want to work longer. Maybe that is part of your dream, right? Maybe you want to work part-time or time because you love what you do, or maybe you want to start a business. Not working is not always a part of everyone's plan, right? Doing what you love sometimes does include working. You just, again, got to find that balance. What things do you want to spend your time doing? When are you comfortable when it comes to how much income you have? Finding those balances for you, that's going to be the key. And I wish that I had the magic formula to say, hey, for everyone, those crosshairs line up exactly at 57 or whatever age it might be, but it varies tremendously by how much people have saved, what their income's going to be, and what their goals are, what you want to do. Some people hate their jobs and want to get out ASAP, others not so much. So please, please, please use this video as a motivational thing for you to take a hard look at your plans. What are your plans? What are these income sources for you? When are you comfortable? What things do you want to do in your life? Because again, when retirement may be 30 years long, how many of those years are going to be healthy and energetic where you can do the things that you want to do? Okay? You want to have a plan so that you don't get to retirement to realize you don't have the health and energy that you thought you would at that time, and you run out of opportunities that you otherwise would have had. So I hope that's helpful. That's a great reminder for all of us to remember life is short. We got to plan now to make sure that all of it is great for you. I hope that's helpful. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.